What is up, YouTube? It is your girl Dominique. I'm here with another video about how I lost 50 pounds. In this video, I'll talk about that process of losing the weight, but I also want to talk a little bit about how I got to the point of needing to lose 50 pounds. In fact, in total, when all is said and done and I reach my goal, it'll be 150 pounds lost. Oh my God, I know. I'm excited to get to that point. It took me a while to get up to the weight of what was a total of 324 pounds at the time. And it'll take me some time to get to the goal weight of 175 pounds, but it's important that understanding that this is a process, it's a journey, and an important piece of it is reflection and understanding where we've been so we can have a clear vision of where we're going, and where we are, in all honesty, because that's a great place too. Even if you're starting today, each day is a fresh start, right? So let's get into it. Weight has always been an issue for me. I've been overweight literally my whole life. As early as kindergarten, I can recall being teased about my size. And it wasn't until a little later on in elementary school, maybe like second or third grade, where I actually had one of my friend's parents said something that stuck with me my whole life. And it was about the need of, needing to run around the schoolyard some more so I can lose the baby fat. And that was one of the first times I was like, oh my God, this must be a real problem if her mom is, telling me this about myself. And throughout that time, and I think the teasing had something to do with this, I didn't take it as a need for improvement, but I sort of leaned into it as a part of my identity. And I started to develop some really negative some bad eating habits to go along with it. So whether it was the frequency of when I was eating, what I was eating, and then we'll talk about this later in the video, but also not recognizing the appropriate amount to eat was also a big challenge. And so because these and we'll talk about this in a future video as well, but because these things started so young, and I wasn't able to change the behaviors, then the weight just sort of kept creeping up. All throughout high school, it remained an issue. And when I got to college, it became even, a bigger issue. I was on my own at that point, and had some interesting experiences where I lost some friendships and relationships, and I really leaned in on food as a way to cope and deal with it all. And what I recognize now is that, well, I wouldn't say I was like a binge eater or anything along those lines. I did consistently utilize food as a tool to cope. And when I say that I was an emotional eater, I don't just mean eating when I was sad. It's literally any emotion you can think of, I could associate food with it. So joyous occasions, happy occasions, if I was angry, upset at someone, if I was sad, and I guarantee you I have the right food pairing for you too. If you asked what food goes well with this emotion, I got one for you, girl. So it just kept creeping up, and by the time I graduated, I was at 308 pounds, which I recall my senior year flying home and not having the seatbelt go across my lap for the first time was really one of my biggest lows as far as weight goes. And I just remember being so embarrassed and getting to the point of wanting to cry, but not wanting to bring more attention to myself because I was embarrassed. I actually think, if I recall it correctly, I basically had my sweater on my head the whole flight just so no one could look at me, which is bringing even more attention to myself, I know. So post-college, I fell into a little bit more of depression. I had some trouble finding a job. It was, during the recession. And so it just, the issue got bigger and bigger until, no pun intended, my mom actually suggested that I use the time to take reign of my life. And so I signed up for Jenny Craig. And this is a disclaimer. I am in this video, and in any of my videos really, I don't advocate for any specific diet or lifestyle. I do not hate or talk poorly about diet and lifestyle. I'm only going off of my experience. And so if it works for you, I'm happy for you. But I want to be clear that I'm speaking from my perspective and not from, you know, being judge and jury on what works and what's a good program. So for those that don't know, Jenny Craig has pre-packaged frozen, mostly frozen meals, and it takes sort of the guesswork out of dieting. I was able to lose 60 pounds during this time. I felt like I was re-energized. It was I lost the weight pretty quickly too, because it kept you within a specific calorie range, and you ate what they gave you. It was that simple. Mind you, you know, and the food was actually pretty good, looking back on it. So it was a good program at the time. But I got really bored because I was eating the same things, on a consistent basis. And I thought that I learned some things that I could, leverage to keep going down the path. But I didn't. Surprise, surprise. Because, while Jenny Craig was really helpful in, setting me up for success while I was on the program, it didn't help me through any of what I've learned to, what I call like the mental weight loss. It didn't help me through any of that. So I still had the same, poor behaviors, the same, negative talk that I had leading up till that point. And so the weight, again, it just kept crawling back up. And at this point in time, I got a new job. I decided to focus my energy on other things, going back to school. And my job was pretty demanding at the time too. And because I wasn't focused on weight and I had these other things going on, and I still had the bad behaviors, oh my God, that weight just kept crawling up and up and up. And I was checking off all of these boxes. I got the job that I wanted. I got the degree. I was doing these things, but I was still very unhappy, very unhappy. And I got to the point where at my highest weigh-in, I got to 324 pounds. And seeing the three the first time around was, oh my God, it was a shocker. But seeing the 3 that time around, I couldn't keep going in that direction. I needed to make a change. I knew I needed to make a change. And so I thought the change that I needed was changing my eating and getting more, doing more workouts so I can start to drop pounds. So I got a trainer. I tried some different diet tactics. Again, I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I did learn a lot from these, and I'm going to do a video about that. But I went plant-based. I tried intermittent fasting. I cut carbs. And they helped. They helped quite a bit. I dropped some weight, but I still was not happy. In fact, I can recall for my, and this all happened around February of 2019. So I recall getting Beyonce tickets for my birthday the year before, in October. And it was the day of the concert. And for anyone who knows me out there, you know, your girl loves the queen, okay? And I spent the whole day, when I tell you the whole day, on my birthday too, but on the concert day specifically, I spent the whole day in bed crying. Crying. When I was gonna see Beyonce. That's not okay. Okay, that's not okay. I knew something was wrong that wasn't weight related at that point. It was not weight related. I was dropping the pounds and I still was not happy. And in fact, I felt like the pounds weren't even coming off in the way that I thought I was. It was slow crawl in the beginning, guys. Slow crawl. And at that point is when I realized that if it's not just physical, it has to be in here. It has to be in here. Because I was still doing the negative speak. I still have the same bad behaviors. It's just that I was on these diets at this point. And I honestly, I didn't like myself. I had learned through 32, 33 years of defining myself by the number on the scale, which I was told was, you know, it's too high. You don't fit the right size jeans. All of that, I use that to define myself. And so because of that, because being overweight was bad, I didn't think highly of myself. I didn't see any value in any of the other pieces of me. The fact that I'm intelligent, the fact that I'm goal-oriented, the fact that I'm funny, the fact that I have a great family, the fact that I have great friends, all of these things, I didn't find value in it because so much was on my weight, on a scale. And so I had to step back and reevaluate where to really focus my energy moving forward. And weight loss was still important, and it still is, but I had to work on that mental weight loss. And I had to correct the negative speak. I had to change my behaviors and understand why I was feeling the need to overeat or feeling the need to make unhealthy decisions on a consistent basis. And so I began to do things like journal. I began to meditate. I created vision boards. I started to be more open about my struggles with my weight with other people. And we'll talk about these in more detail in a later video. But what it helped me to do was it helped me to, one, figure out what I liked about myself. It helped me to be more grateful about the life that I have. It helped me to understand that I wasn't alone and this wasn't some great burden the world has pressed upon me and I have to deal with the rest of my life. And so slowly but surely, my mindset changed. I also chose to focus on the positives of the weight loss experience and enjoying the journey rather than focusing on deprivation and what I can't have and the burden of weight. It was positive. I kept it positive. You know, it wasn't about wanting to fit a pair of jeans, but it was about the desire to have a more active lifestyle. And with that, the weight started to come off because I was making these decisions to speak to myself in a way of love, because I was making these decisions to, it helped me to make decisions to be healthier. And I also decided that in the process, I would do something that I hadn't done in dieting before, and that's give myself some grace and make room to make mistakes. I did not get to 324 pounds overnight. I didn't. It took 30 plus years to get there. And so I don't expect to lose 150 pounds overnight. It'll take some time to get there. And no journey is perfect. No person is perfect. And so I understand that this is going to take time. I understand that I will have setbacks. I understand that I will have moments of weakness. And hell, sometimes I just want to eat some ice cream, and that is okay, girl. It is okay. But the weight loss journey is about decisions. Constant small choices that you're making along the way. And each time you're faced with those choices, you have an opportunity to change, right? And so I understand that. And so just because, you know, it was just the holidays and I decided to have a little bit of be a little more relaxed and not focus on weight loss, but weight maintenance. And that's fine. That's fine. It's a part of the journey. And so, you know, the holidays are over. And so now I'm going to pick myself back up and get on it, girl, and continue to drop this weight. But, you know, it's important that as we're talking about loving yourself, you have to give yourself the room to fail and to improve and make changes. And that's exactly the work that we're going to continue to talk about on these videos. In our next video, I will share some of my top learnings along the way. Again, I'm so happy to have you here. This is going to continue to be a fun ride as we learn exactly how to change our mindsets and lose weight. And we're also going to do some of those tangible things. Don't worry, I will talk about what I eat and the workouts that I do. But I understand too that any overweight person, listen to me, any overweight person already knows how to lose weight. They already know how to do it. Calories in, calories out. If you want to, you know, change your physique, you work out. We all understand this. This isn't rocket science. But what we don't understand is why we don't do those things that we know we need to do, right? So that's why we're here. And we are going to continue down that road. And I'm excited to have you along for the journey. So don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comment below. Let's get the conversation ball rolling. Until next time, guys. Peace.